On 29 November 1947, the UN voted to divide Palestine into two states. They gave 55% of land to Jewish state and 45% of land to Arab state. In reality, Jews owned less than 10% land of Palestine. Though Jewish leaders accepted the plan, but Arab leaders rejected it, arguing it was unfair. The 10% land that Jews owned was strategically captured by Jews from Arabs. At the beginning, Arabs accepted Jews as friends. So, when Jews approached Arab citizens with money to buy land, the Arabs sold it to them without any ill intentions. At first, wealthy Jewish families purchased small plots of land for agriculture and to support Jewish settlers in Palestine. By the 1870 to 1880, as European investment and settlement increased, the Ottoman Empire became wary of foreign control over Palestinian land. So in 1882, Ottoman Empire strictly restricted foreign ownership in Palestine. But there were some technical loopholes in this restriction. Though foreign citizens could not buy Palestinian land, but they could take long-term leases from Ottoman citizens. Organizations like Jewish National Fund (JNF) technically took control of those lands. The JNF was founded in 1901. From 1881 to 1909, similar 5 organizations were formed. These organizations basically raised funds worldwide in creative ways to purchase land in Palestine. The organization like the JNF strategically searched for absent landlords who lived elsewhere, usually in Beirut, Damascus, Istanbul or other cities. These landlords did not live on or farm the land themselves. They collected rent from tenant farmers who worked the land in Palestine. The JNF managed Ottoman citizens to buy lands from landlords. They used both the Arabs and the Jewish settlers who had Ottoman citizenship. The JNF paid the whole cost of land from their funding. In the land paper, the intermediaries were the legal owners of the land. Then, the JNF took long-term leases of those lands from those intermediaries. Once purchased, the JNF had a strict rule. Land could not be leased or resold to non-Jews. When the JNF took control of the lands, they forcefully displaced the tenant farmers who had farmed the lands for generations. Then, these lands were settled and worked by Jews. The displaced farmers often received little or no compensation since they were not the landowners. The farmers felt betrayed by this act. When Britain came to power, the JNF transferred ownership of those lands to itself. Jewish ownership of the Palestinian land was less than 10%. Still, giving 55% of the land to the population who had less than 10% land was not fair. The strategy that UN took was they divided the land based on population distribution. For example, Negev desert make up almost half of the Palestine's total area. There only lived small Bedouin tribes and scattered communities. Beside them, Jews had small settlements and plans for development in some desert parts. So the UN gave the entire Negev desert to the Jews. The Arabs couldn't accept it because the Arabs were the main settlers of Palestine. The Jews mostly were immigrants to the area. The Arabs couldn't accept the fact of giving the entire natural resource to immigrants just because they had settlements there. Besides, the UN allocated the entire 55% land to Jews so that the suppressed Jewish refugees around the world could immigrate to Palestine. Besides all these facts, Zionist lobbying pressure also emphasized the UN partition plan. After the Holocaust, there was strong sympathy for Jewish survivors around the world. So, to grow more support, Jews launched huge campaigns like mass rallies and letter writings in the United States. US President felt pressure and as a result, US voted for the UN partition plan. Besides US, Soviet Union was another strong power that voted for the partition plan. The Soviet Union voted in favor because Britain had become a colonial power in Middle East. If Israel came to the existence, Britain would be pushed out of the Middle East. So Soviet Union also voted for the partition plan of the UN. This influenced others to vote for the partition plan, resulting in 55% of land for Jews and 45% of land for the Arabs.